In the Greenhouse All-Stars, 18 legends of the game return for one more run at the crown. They're here to rekindle old battles, find new names for themselves, and maybe, just maybe, be crowned the best player in Greenhouse history. 4 seasons have all led to this. Each week, 3 All-Stars will enter the Greenhouse, earning power in deciding who goes home each cycle. Players in the Greenhouse designate which players are vulnerable at each week's banishment. Additionally, players are able to earn seeds, the in-game currency, and the vulnerable players can use those seeds to buy their way out of precarious situations. Alliances must be forged, lies must be told, and at the end of each cycle, someone has to go home. It's the ultimate game of negotiation. Do you strike now or save your power for later? Do you rescue a valuable ally or do you hang on to your seeds? 18 enter, 1 will leave. This is the Greenhouse All-Stars.
Yes. Holy.
That was iconic.
Congrats.
Oh,
Before you made it. Congrats.
Oh,
Stood out.
okay, fine.
I need a snug from Heckin. Girl, they put the pot in my hand and you held your breath, girl. My butthole was in my stomach. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Alright, here we go.
Oh.
Everyone have a seat. Moving right along. Congratulations, Final Four. You are all All-Stars. You will now use your remaining seeds and banked votes to choose one person to win final immunity. You must use everything you hold in the voting booth. You cannot vote for yourself. You are allowed to pass goods during the talking period, just like an auction. The winner of final immunity will banish the 4th player. If there's a tie, all members of that tie become finalists. If there's a 2-way tie, it's a final 2. If there's a 3-way tie, it's a final 3. If there's a 4-way tie, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I will repeat that for you. The winner of final immunity will banish the 4th player. If there's a tie, all members of the tie become finalists. If there's a 2-way tie, it's final 2. 3-way tie, it's a final 3. If there's a 4-way tie, we'll figure it out. Okay, do you have any questions about the beginning? Okay, let's get rolling.
Yeah.
Maybe can y'all all sit on that wall or whatever.
There's a person.
Beautiful. And speak up.
Sorry. I'm not sure how we want to start going about this. I think there are some ideas already. I don't want to string anyone along. I think everyone knows me and Meredith have been working really closely together. I want to give Meredith final immunity. And I think that we have a consensus among the people here of who she's going to take to the final 3. And this is the hardest part of getting this far, is that, as I've said before, you don't get this far without trusting every person here. None of us would be here if the other ones weren't here. I trust Meredith to make the right decision, and I think we've decided that myself and Meredith and Brandon are going to go to the final 3. I'm open. I don't want you to think that you have no shot. I don't think that's fair because you played so good to get here. I don't think anything's going to change my mind from putting everything in my pot whenever I go in that room to putting it on her, and then it's up to her to decide. But I guess the floor is yours if you want to say something before that happens.
Yeah. I think.
And I can be here or I can leave, like whatever you feel comfortable with. But
No, I
it's
think
the
this
four of
is
us,
solid because we've been sitting, and even in previous rounds, like we were literally, like I said,
playing the next round for this round.
Correct.
But we're hitting that wall.
We've hit the wall.
We've hit the wall,
Yeah.
and we're all. I think we're all here together.
Yeah.
And I do agree that we've been all plain and honest with each other. So I'm good with that. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
I do want to say that, like with being a previous winner, and this is my first time really playing the greenhouse, I would like to be in final 3 to see what could happen. I think I have less ties than y'all think, because I know that y'all have also been working with other people, and I know that I have not worked aggressively with everybody. So even if I was in final 3, I would not expect that many votes towards me. I definitely think people would side to who they have been playing with. And up until like midway, I would say Monopoly is when I started playing for myself. And before that, I was really la-di-da. I was really just a floater. So if that's what we want, if you know what I mean, if that's
Yeah.
what y'all want to do, I don't have enough to influence, I think, the final immunity. But that is definitely my spiel, is that I would love to be on top 3 block just because of that.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't made it this far.
I don't think it's a mistake that the 4 of us are sitting here.
Yeah.
When I say I genuinely think the 4 best people, the 4 people who played this game the best are the ones that are still here.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we're here for a reason. You
Yeah.
can luck into it, or you can get there on purpose. And I think we got here
Yeah.
intentionally.
Yeah. So, and you're good with that too, if Meredith has immunity to choose.
Yes, because for many reasons.
Right.
And we were in season 1 together. And that's not why, but when we played
Yeah.
that time,
Yeah.
I told you that in a different set of circumstances, we were on opposite sides of the house.
Yeah.
We could have and should have worked together. And I think that it could have been us sitting up in the front at that point. So coming into this game and knowing that she was playing again, I loved the way that she played so much that I knew that
Yeah.
I wanted to go with her.
Yeah.
When we started this game, we started to keep tabs more regularly. And then as we hit this kind of end of yesterday into today,
Yeah.
is when we started having even more real conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has trusted us the last times we were in the greenhouse with her to
Yeah.
have seeds versus flowers, which
Yeah.
is, we could have, in a similar way to what we did with Patrick, we could have slooped her in and gotten her out. And we didn't, right? And that was a show of trust to you. So that's why for all the reasons, and especially today, I feel absolutely comfortable. Now, I don't have a lot to really sway, but
Yeah.
what I do have now, I feel fine putting forward for you to make that decision. It's not an easy one to make. I had to make it last time. It
Yeah.
is hard to do.
Yeah.
But, as they say in Spider-Man, with great power comes a lot of seeds, right?
Yes. Yes.
So,
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
so anyway, I know that if, it's gonna start being brought up, especially if I do make it to the final 3,
Yeah.
that I was a past winner.
Yeah.
I don't think that helps me at all. I don't. I think it hurts me. The first winner was knocked out of the first round. The second one is also not on jury. They don't want winners to win again. And that's pretty obvious. I have made it here through a series of relationships that I have been honest with every step of the way.
Yeah.
And then over from 5 to 4 or 6 to 5 to 4 is when we were in the greenhouse and really started trying to lock in a plan.
Yeah.
Abrielle almost had me
Yeah.
because it made sense.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
But we have discussed it, and that's why I didn't want to go against it.
Yeah.
So I
And I
didn't.
respect that. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Looking at the jury, again, I think I was everybody's friend until I wasn't. I tried not to get my hands too dirty, but when the jury started being formed is when I did start to come back up. So I don't have a lot of fans there. My goal today in this game was to prove to myself, now knowing that I knew how to play and knew people, to get this far.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, you can say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know, like,
This was my real first time,
It was.
like really getting in. And
You crushed.
yeah, you killed it.
yeah.
And I've always wanted to play with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like when I for season 2, I remember like you were the one that everyone was excited that you were there.
Yeah.
Which then and then you had Lily McGill. So
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is,
yeah.
You know, so I have loved watching you play, and
Yeah.
you know, if it is you up there, I understand, but I do. On a personal note, like I wanted again, like just to really again prove like
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing, and I've made relationships at the right time that I needed to and wanted to, and I've had people's backs when the moments really counted.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, truly, I don't have much else to say.
I think we're pretty good. Unfortunately, I think we know where this is going. And I'm not blowing smoke. I think you played amazing. And I can genuinely say, I won't speak for them, but I'm not sitting here if you don't play as good as you do. Because you were an invaluable ally throughout pretty much this entire game. So,
Same.
100%.
Same.
so
Same.
Yeah.
I can't compliment how well you played.
Yeah.
It, like,
And
it's impeccable. I
Same
mean,
Lights out.
like we were on sometimes opposite sides of the house, so sorry. And,
Yeah.
But to know that you were in the wheeling and dealing, I was like, go girl, get it.
so fun.
Spicy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Spice.
I definitely stirred the pot.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, and I wanted to add, like, I do as well trust your opinion, and especially, like, I think a lot of this, like, boiling down to this, not unanimous, you know what I mean, but collective. And so I agree as well, and I do trust your judgment, and I know that we've made, like, y'all have made promises, and like you said, not blowing smoke. I just know that, like, I would like to be in the top 3. So, Avi.
Right.
Yeah.
Woo! Yes. So, but I would really love. So that's all I have to say though, and I'm gonna let you make the tough decision and just kick it.
And I'm gonna try to stay calm. I want to say to you guys how much like I appreciate and cannot believe like the trust you're putting in me and the value you hold for me as a player.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting spicy.
Yeah, spicy. Yeah, how's that?
And especially hearing from you, like the winner of the season that I was in, like just it being recognized how hard I fought in the game that I played, because it is hard to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Not only like not a winner, but 6th place when so often like it was within reach.
Mm-hmm.
But to be seen and to be valued, but also by people I've never met. That you guys were willing to like come on this ride with me and to trust me when I came to you, and to trust me right now with, you know, one of the most important decisions of this game.
Yeah.
The fact that like I am in this position means the world to me. This has been such an exceptional game, and we have been through the ringer today. Personally, emotionally, just having to wheel down these last few numbers has been so hard, because the problem is I got here with people I continue to work with, and there were too many of them. Like I have been so lucky in this game with the friendships I have been able to make. Not calling them alliances, they're friendships.
Yeah.
Like
And so I just want to thank you guys. It does mean the world. I'm so exceptionally honored. So yeah, I'm so lucky to be here with all of you.
Yeah.
Incredible game, absolutely phenomenal game, and you all have been incredible.
Yeah.
And I have loved this journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't.
I know. Great game, guys. I don't know. That's wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to go?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Taylor? Are you gonna give me yours?
I am gonna grab them, split them up,
Okay.
and not count because you guys have agreed to go with me.
Okay.
And so I'm not gonna. You're not gonna fuss.
Okay.
So.
Thanks.
I don't know what that is. I don't know how to count. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word.
Word.
Okay.
Are we ready to vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if y'all need a minute, I will pee.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna pee as well.
Okay, I'm going.
How are you? How are you feeling?
I've been better.
How are you going to play your seeds and or banked votes? What do you have?
Yeah, I have, it looks like 5 seeds and 1 banked vote, and I believe 3 seeds were mine, 2 just came from Meredith. What's going on is that we collectively decided that Meredith would be the person to get full immunity, and she would make the choice between Brandon and I. I pleaded my case that I would love to stay, but they've kind of really established that the other 3 will be top 3. I would freaking love to spice it up and just put these in a different pot, but final immunity will be announced before she decides, of course. And if those seeds are not in that pot, obviously I don't even have a chance. So with the collective decision, I think my best chance would be to put all of my votes and seeds into Meredith's pot to continue with the plan and, you know, really just I have a better chance of getting top 3 of sticking to the plan.
Okay.
So I will put in, 6 total votes, 5 seeds, and 1 banked vote into Meredith's pot
For final immunity.
for final immunity.
Thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Amazing
Thank
comeback.
you. Yeah. I'm MIP no matter what.
This is our last time meeting.
I'm so sorry. Did you change?
Yes, I did.
A come finale dress? Y'all should see her. Hot pink. Okay.
And
I'm voting for Meredith to have final immunity. I've told her from the beginning I think she is the best. I want to sit next to her and probably watch her win. But I want to be up there, and she told me she'd bring me. She gave me the most by accident because she kind of did a little grab in her bowl and just distribute, and I was watching. So I could really fuck things up. But I won't. For Meredith.
very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How are you?
Hi, Miss Dee Dee. I'm doing very well.
Are you prepared to make your final vote for the final immunity?
I am. This person has been probably my #1 ally for as close to the entire game as I can remember. I can't remember a time not working with her. I've trusted her completely, and I'm going to continue to do so. And I'm going to be honest with you, she deserves to win this game. That doesn't mean I'm going to try to. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try to beat her in jury if I'm lucky enough to make it. But she's the best player in this game, and I'm not sure it's particularly close. So I'm going to vote with all of my seats that I have and bank votes for Meredith.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
In what is
hopefully the right decision. I distributed my seeds at random, and they did not have a chance to like calculate and distribute them evenly without me. So I'm pretty sure there's not a real way for this to fail. I guess they could have dumped them on someone else, except for one of them. It's time to stop being paranoid. I have nothing to give. I gave them to my friends because they said they would give them to me, which is such a high honor to be given this trust and put in this position. And they said such nice things about me. So, no votes for me. Just putting my faith in my allies one last time.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
The mayor has arrived. Mayor has arrived. You do have off tomorrow, though. Yes.
Welcome to the Final Four! The final results are in. I would like my Final Four to come in, please. Yes, come on. Ross, Meredith, Jessica, Brandon. Please stand behind the chairs. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's one more round of applause for our Final Four. But alas, we cannot remain Final Four. So I will reveal the results of the voting for the final immunity. Everyone ready? I will reveal one at a time. With 0 votes for final immunity, Jessica. With 0 votes for immunity, Ross. With a unanimous 19 votes for final immunity, congratulations, Meredith. You have final immunity. So if the final 3 would have a seat.
The 3 vulnerable players.
I'm so sorry. So sorry. Will the 3 vulnerable players please have a seat? Meredith, please join me. Each of you will have a chance to make your final plea to Meredith before she chooses to cast out the final player to end in the final 3. Anyone care to volunteer to go first?
Wait, sorry, Bryce, what?
Lily.
We're
She
good.
had to leave.
Okay. Wait, sorry, listen.
Thank you, crew.
Thank you for.
You want to go?
We've been working together since the beginning. I trust you completely. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't. So, I trust you and congratulations.
Thank you, Ross. Jessica?
I think that we together have been very honest from the beginning and vibing from the beginning. I think I was everybody's friend, but not everybody's ally. And I even have a couple enemies. So I definitely don't think, it's friendly. I don't think that I'm the most friendly for sure. I think that, other players have played well and worked more with others. I definitely think that I flowed by between who is up against as well. We have a previous winner who has already been a top 3. And I know that I would love to fill a spot on the top 3, to have the chance. I definitely know already I have been the most improved player, but to put in top 3 and to see what could happen, that would be amazing as well. Even if, it's 3rd runner-up, girl. But I definitely think that, compared to everybody the final 4 that we have, I don't think that I'm the biggest target. So I definitely think that, use your best judgment and, congrats to everybody here.
Thank you, Jessica. Brandon?
you know I think the world of you. I'll tell it to anyone who will ask me. I wanted to play with you in the first time we played, and we ended up on different sides. I made it a point this time to grab you in the beginning and say, let's keep in touch until we got to where we needed to really start putting things in action. I think we've done that together. I've put my full trust in you, and I've made a lot of enemies along the way. But I would love to sit next to you in the final three. I have been here before, as we know, not with you, and not under these circumstances where I feel like this time I am proud of what I did, and I want to sit next to the people up here. So, congrats to you as well.
Thank you, Brandon. And the moment we have all been waiting for. Meredith, please step forward.
How far forward?
Wherever you want to be.
Can we confirm on camera that you didn't want to show?
Yeah, I have, why do you want just her?
Oh, no, that's okay.
Meredith, please cast your vote.
First of all, thank you all for putting your trust in me. I consider this an extremely high honor, and I have enjoyed playing with you guys so much. It has been an incredible experience. And with that being said, for better or for worse, I have made commitments, and it is who I am to honor them. And so I'm sorry, Jessica, but I have been working with you guys for a long time, and they're the ones who I promised would be here with me, and I have immensely enjoyed working with you. But that was never something that we had to go on, and thank you for an amazing game.
All right, my finalists, please stay seated when you answer.
Okay.
Which will be more within the.
Got it.
I can start it and then you do it.
Can I leave the room? No. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I'll start it and you guys go.
Welcome to the finale! Our final three, Brandon, Meredith, and Ross, congratulations. You each have one chance to say your final statements to the jury before they begin their questions. Would anyone like to? Should
We'll start
Meredith
with
go?
Ross and go to the right, then we'll end with Brandon and go to the left for the final statement.
Okay.
I also can literally hear Stu. Is there any way we could put him in the bathroom or something?
Do you think closing that door?
We'll see.
Ross, you will start first.
Hey everyone. They told me to sit.
Oh, that's hot.
So, hey everyone, good to see you all again. We have played a hell of a game these past 3 days. I don't know about y'all, there's varying levels of how many times you guys have played these games. This is my second one. I thought the first one was intense and like crazy, and I spent probably the next 10 days, a month after I played the first one, and anyone who gave me half of a second to talk about how insane and fun and unique the games were over here, I took that half a second and talked their ear off. And that one had nothing on what transpired over the past 3 days. So I know that all the questions will come about why I deserve to be the winner of this season, and I'm gonna answer all of them as honestly as possible. And I guess the quick outline is that I think I was on the bottom to start with, and I managed to make it all the way here. I think that I was as loyal as I could be. I'm sure some of you think otherwise. And I think I played incredibly strategically as well in competitions. I'm the only person, as far as I know, ever to be in the greenhouse 3 times in a row. So I'll not talk too long because I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. But good to see you all and happy that I'm here.
Meredith?
Hi guys. What a couple of days it's been. Where to start? I came into this season a little bit worried, possibly arrogantly, that I would be a target from the beginning because of my track record winning competitions and securing immunity for myself. I thought people might be afraid of me because of that. So I was surprised to come in and find that I was not really considered a threat, but that gave me the opportunity that I was looking for. That in my first season, and in the other games I've played, I am not known as a social player. That has always been my weakness, that I relied on that immunity to make it anywhere, in any game, because I was not the person to make friends. I was not the person to have solid alliances, especially not long term. And I came into this game with a goal of playing more strategically, playing more socially, and doing things that I hadn't done before, and being more bold in my game, and not just defaulting to safety where I can snatch it. And I am honestly just so proud of myself for succeeding so wildly at that task. My entrance said, if you can't beat me, you might as well join me. And you, in that moment, said you would join me. And I was astounded by how many people came to me and made me social offers and what I was able to do with that. I mean, obviously, end up here, but I feel like all of you I had good relationships with, most of the cast. I ended up with at least a passing, positive relationship with for at least, some round or another. But I would say I had a lot of strong relationships. It made me feel like I had options and movement for so much of this game without ever making myself disloyal. And I know some of you might feel like I was dishonest to you or betrayed you, and I think it can be perceived that way, but on my end, a promise is different from saying that we are good. And if you weren't listening carefully to me, I say exactly what I mean. And there were times in the game when things became complicated and I couldn't hold up to the things that I said even when I wanted to. But at the end of the day, I think I was very consistent. I had a mix of social and competition and winning comps when I was able to, not as dramatically as I have done in the past. But I'm excited to have been a more well-rounded player and to be such an improved player. In my first season, I felt so strongly that I deserved to be in the final because of how hard I worked to get there. But I think the game I played then is nothing compared to the game I have played this time. And I really enjoyed this experience, but I feel like I was extremely competitive. I made moves that changed this game fundamentally, and I was an integral part of a lot of big rounds, and I think that speaks to my agency in this game when I was never publicly named as a large threat. The people around me often were. But I, while always being a part of those things and having a say in that narrative, still managed to be enough of people's friends that I got to continue in this game. So, thank you all for a great experience, and I am looking forward to answering your questions and hearing what you have to say. But yeah, I think I deserve to win because I feel like I really truly played the game I came here to play.
Thank you. Brandon?
Hey everyone. So, first time I played,
It was a new game. No one had played before. So there was outside of the online version, but no one else had played in this house this level of game, this kind of game. I had never played a Luke game before. This was my first time ever dipping my toe into what I think is the most bizarrely cool experience. So just a quick shout out to Taylor. And I found in that experience that one of the things that I understood about the game was the importance of being social and having a social game. And learning the difference on the spot in real time that time of when a promise is being made, like you were saying, versus when to make those promises, right? When do you make the alliance? What is the time limit on that alliance? I stumbled, I hiccuped, I wasn't by any means like a comp beast, and I was criticized at the time for not making big moves. This time coming into the game, I was ready and excited to be here. I still don't think that I knew, well, it's a different experience being here with different people. Seeing the cast list certainly made me quake a little bit. Because I've had the opportunity to watch each season and really see the strength that was walking into these doors. So I wanted to do two things, at least. I wanted to use my strength, which I think I did well. I talked to every person in this house. I had a relationship with almost every person in this house at some point or another. Truthfully, is this who I expected to be sitting up here with? It would depend on when you ask me that question during the game, right? But what I've come to realize is that is how you get to this spot in the game. And I knew that coming in. So I was very intentional with building relationships with pockets of people at different times. I've tried my absolute darndest to be honest. You all know that I play an honest game and that I don't like backstabbing. There does come a point in a game that goes from 18 to 3 where sometimes that you have to move in different directions than you thought you were going to have to do. And you are also at the mercy of people who have power at that time. Or if you are in power, who those other people are as well. People forget about the importance of seeds in this game. I found myself not where I wanted to be at the end with no seeds. So some of the moves in this later half to get some folks out were partially to my benefit, right? I knew that I thought I had a better chance with these guys than with, whatever else was happening. But also because that was a lot of, these were things that you all had talked about, and I didn't have any seeds. So I wanted to show my trust to this team who was powerful to make those things happen. Anyway, I will wrap this up. This game identified the way that we played this All-Star season. When people were in clear alliances, they became targets. You can look at every person that was eliminated, and usually it was because they were in cahoots with somebody, and we wanted to separate the alliance. When I caught that pattern, I made sure to up my social game to make sure that I was good with everyone, but not perfect with anyone, so that I wasn't the number one target. I was nominated one time, I believe. And I pulled myself off the block. So I also wanted to prove myself that I could win challenges, and not to flex, but I won a physical challenge today, among others. So I was in the greenhouse 3 times today. I'm proud of the game that I played. I feel like I wanted to be feeling like this in this chair versus last time when I sat in the chair and did, oh, how the fuck did that happen? So, like I said, I played an intentional game today. I'm happy to answer your questions. It was so much fun playing with all of you, and especially with you two.
Thank you so much. And now each juror will get a chance to ask one question.
A word with a statement.
No.
Oh, okay. The jurors have a statement to make.
Yes.
Christian is representing.
As the mayor of the jury, the first juror, I got to see everyone come in one by one to this jury. And I know we are all very passionate about this game. We are all very opinionated as well. We want to hear that passion and aggressiveness from each of you. I don't want y'all to pussyfoot around on that chair and just say bullshit. We want to hear your games, okay? Y'all are very deserving, okay? We want to hear it. I'm going to leave it to Brody.
First off, congrats to each of you three. You all made it to the spot we could not. That being said, I'm so fucking bored. All of you sat there, talked about the friendships you made, the relationships you built today, and generalities. Not one of you said a move specifically that you made, or anything you did to separate yourself from the other two people you're sitting next to. So my question is, did each of you do individually that separates you from the people you're next to?
I'll go first. You want like a clear
I want
example?
to know exact answers, because if I get more generalities, you will not get my vote.
Great. A perfect example, Patrick. I led the charge on Patrick. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah. So how it really started was Lily was kind of the clear nominee at the time. It was my perception that I led the charge on Patrick. let me state that for the house. Patrick had previously put me up. We had talked the least. I knew that you were someone, once Brody left, that we needed to look at because you were a very strong player and we hadn't worked as closely together as I had talked to these guys. It looked like Lily was going home. We talked about Uproot and then we started to piece it together. Well, Ross was thinking about putting up me or you. Me as a pawn, you as a pawn. I talked to Lily, I said, what if we can get Ross on board with putting Patrick up, not as a pawn? Do we have the seeds to make it happen? She said yes. I said I would help her. I also said I'll help you even more if you pass that uproot to me. And that way I'm also safe. Now that may have been a conversation that they had also had previously, but I know that from the side where I was talking with Lily, that was something that we did talk about. So that was that.
Can I ask if they knew, or is that too much?
Sure. Is that a conversation y'all had previously, or
Like knowing that.
To target you.
yeah?
No.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, whoever else wants to start. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You know when you weren't bored earlier today? We got you out.
Yeah. Ooh.
So I guess one of my biggest moves was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that everyone knows your game, and we know that you're really good at sticking around until it's too late to get you out. And you made a career out of it. And so I think that when we kind of wrapped up last night and I woke up this morning, it was the first opportunity we get. We cannot let this guy go any further because you only get so many shots. You only get so many chances to take the shot. And very much like the first night when I didn't want to, I wanted to fly under the radar as much as possible. I felt like I was backed into a corner and I had to make a move. It was either take the chances and let you decide who to send home or try to fight back. And I lost that one. And I was still able to somehow survive. I don't like taking shots because when you take shots and you miss, you're in deep shit. But I think that was the last shot that I missed. And ever since then, I've been taking shots and I've been hitting. I was able to help get out Shane, and we can talk about that later. Because
Don't talk about it later. Talk about it now.
That was probably the hardest vote that I've had to make this entire game. Because as much as y'all might not believe it, I was as loyal as I possibly could until I couldn't be loyal anymore. And when I could be loyal, that's what I tried to do. And whenever it was turning and I couldn't save you, and I knew that it would be another feather in my cap, I got you. You and Patrick are two of the big reasons that I'm sitting here right now. And without the two of you, I wouldn't be here. I didn't turn on Patrick. I did turn on you. I'm not sorry. It was the right thing to do for my game. Getting you out was dangerous because if I didn't get you out, I knew you were coming for me. You made a mistake not coming for me the first night after I tried to fly trap you. I wasn't going to miss again, and I didn't.
I don't know, to start from that point, let's all be honest, taking Brody out was an easy shot. We were all in agreement on that.
It was an easy shot.
Yes, we all woke up this morning saying Brody's out first chance, and we were handed a golden opportunity that we were in charge of the outcome of the first challenge we had. So if that's like the biggest game-changing thing that you did, that was a unanimous house decision. Personally, I think one of the major turning points of this game was something that I did. I nominated Thomas and Shakira, neither of whom is here right now. And those were dangerous people. That was a consolidation of power. I have heard that season 3 was in that together. And I felt the need to put a stop to it. And I was told by many people no one else was going to be brave enough to do it. And I did. And it was not a safe shot because Brody was alone. It was unanimous. I had to deal with whoever survived that vote. And I had Thomas gunning for me when I was gunning for Thomas. I was not safe for several rounds. And still, Thomas is not here. I am. And that's because we did a Venus flytrap. And I won't deny that the Venus flytrap is not my MO, and I was a little hesitant on that. But at the end of the day, I was on board with that. That was my team orchestrating that, so I was, of course, part of that narrative. And I did change that from a Venus flytrap of Christian to a flytrap of Thomas, because I was working with Christian. I was going to be as loyal to him as I possibly could be, and I felt far more danger from Thomas. So I demanded that for my seeds to be involved in this and for my allies to do something with my permission, that would be Thomas and Thomas alone. And then even with Christian, we had been working together, and I trusted you for so much of this game, and I wanted very deeply to trust you. And I don't know what your true intentions are or were, but if you wanted me to trust you, and I was your true intention for you to end up here with me, I needed to know what you were doing, and more than who you were talking to, because you were willing to tell me that, but what you were saying to them and what your intentions were. I needed more of an explanation because I was hearing things from other people that you said that I couldn't justify, not knowing about either prior or right after. There was a time when I was putting out feelers late in this game early today with Brandon and Abrielle talking about doing a 3 that was sort of across the sides of the house that existed at that time and switching my trio from the boys that I was with to them to give myself flexibility and options. And in that situation, I didn't mean it when I said that, and then I had second thoughts about it because I'm not super comfortable with that kind of play, honestly. It is hard for me to want to do those kind of underhanded things. And so I went and I told both of them, Patrick in more detail, but I also did talk to you about the fact that I had extended feelers with them, that I would only use as a last resort. But that is how I talk to my allies. I give explanations for my behavior. I don't let them hear it from other people. And so there's a preemptive explanation for what happened with you and I, that for you to have my trust, you needed a different game plan. So I got Christian out of the way. And I saved myself in that situation when I was put on Uproot. I've been nominated 4 or 5 times, something like that. I was used as a pawn several times. At least once with my full consent and permission, I have placed my trust in other people. So many times throughout this game, we kept getting into the greenhouse, and I was consistently stuck with these 2 seeds and not given immunity. I was not safe for so much of this game today, but I was able to trust my allies, and I think that speaks to the kind of player I am and the kind of trust I have earned in this game. Despite the fact that I am making these moves, I have taken people out, I did what I came to do, and I did what I said I would do the vast majority of the time. And I feel like a lot of these moves deserve respect.
Thank you all for answering with specifics. I do want to address one thing one of you said in your opening statement. Ross, you said no one has been to the greenhouse 3 times in a row. I would like to say I went 5 times in a row.
Oh my
This
god.
Snore.
Yeah.
5 times in a row.
Great answers though, my lord.
What we're talking
Y'all
about.
killed that.
Wait, we can lower this tripod because everyone here is leaning.
Yeah.
What?
We can try. They
It's
can't see us
fine.
through it.
They can't
It's
see.
fine.
They can't see.
Producer,
them.
It's for the camera. We can.
I hear more about
We're
the
just
shot.
now
We can look at
recording,
her.
so-
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
I hate you guys. I care about the shot more.
Oh no! If you need a shot on them,
Matt,
it's
fine.
their time. That was
No,
incredible.
and look, I appreciate all of your answers.
You
You
got it.
answered all my questions, and I think this is what we are looking for as
Yes.
a jury.
Way to go, guys.
Yeah. Keep it up.
Did you want to go next? Or you want
No, we're going in order. So Brady will be next.
I was just gonna
Okay.
So we're
the jury
in
response.
So, my perception is that I saw Ross took shots at every point of the game. I saw Meredith took shots at every point of the game. Brandon, I want to know in the middle of the game, so not, I would say from, wait, we're not in order, whatever. Brandon, I want to know something you did, you led the charge on in the mid-game that got you further.
I mean, I was involved in every conversation. People did not make a move unless they asked me about it first. That's tea. Every person that's covered, I had a say at that. And I want to be clear too. I think it depends on how you define, like, you know, I may not at the time have been in the greenhouse, but competitions in this game matter to an extent and matter more at the end. That is from my experience. I'm not a natural competitor, but I certainly don't ever throw a competition. If I can win it, I'm going to win it, and if I can't, I won't do it. So I mean, like I said, in every move that was made, I know I'm not giving you any specifics right now because we've been here for 48 hours and my brain is absolute mush. What else can I do to answer your question?
I think I would just like to know a little bit more of a clear vision of where you were at in the middle of the game, because from what I've heard...
Can you define middle? Like...
Yeah, and that's where I'm struggling a little bit. But I would say, let's say around Christian...
From the coffee house.
From the split house.
From the split house.
Sure. To the morning, maybe. From the split house till when Brody got home.
Probably about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the split house, Thomas picked that group very intentionally with Claire as the target. That was Thomas's move.
I'd argue it wasn't Claire. It was Shane, but it was Claire or Shane.
I was told it was Claire, or maybe it was Claire and Shane. In the conversations, it quickly became Claire. And then once that happened, we had kind of a unified group. So I thought, coming back to the house. When Shane flipped and went, and I want to explain this, you flipped on us, not with them, which is good gameplay. It sounded like you were we came back as a unified group and we were going to stick together to beat the other side of the house. And then we get here, you and I are having a conversation about Flytrap, and you essentially say, no, I don't think it's happening. And 3 minutes later, it not only happened, but you contributed, and then you walked up to us and told us. That's when I woke up and realized we're in a new phase, and I need to start having a bit more of an active voice. If I wasn't in the greenhouse, I was starting to push where the people would go. Did it always happen like I wanted it to? No, right? I didn't want Christian to go. Christian and I were also working together. That is Christian's game, to work very closely with a lot of people, but it is also mine. But I trusted Christian, so much so that when the vote was up against him, I refused to vote against him. I knew it wouldn't save him, but I voted to keep Christian. I was smart enough to get into the room with everyone, to know what the move was going to be, to alert the right people, and then to act accordingly. So the middle of the game is when I knew that it was real. It was time for me to start really locking things in. And the people that I was the closest to at that time were starting to get picked off like flies. So I spent that time trying to win competitions, not winning them. So starting to get to know the people that were, so that when we came back this morning, I was good. Shane was a big part of that for me, getting him out, because I thought I was next. So I ran a campaign to flip that to Shane. I had a reason to, because of what, of the jail and the blocking me from getting Sunflower when I wanted it, etc. Which, again, great move. But that meant that I now have a target on me. You want power, and you're clearly coming for me. I was able to flip you off of these guys, and they kept me instead of you. So you may not have seen that, but that's where I was doing. There was never a moment in this game when I was sitting in the living room drinking water. I was in somebody's camera. That was my middle. In the end, I started winning, and I started making moves.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Shane?
Congratulations, you three. Impeccable games, impeccable jury so far, or final, whatever. In this game, I understand that you do have to be honest, and you do have to make lies, and it is a tough line to walk. What I want to know is, what was the biggest betrayal that you made in this game, and how did that betrayal benefit your game, as in, why did you do it? I don't need you to say me if it's not me. I don't want your flattery. I already think I'm hot shit. I don't need you to flatter me. Give me your honest answer. This is probably going to determine my vote.
I'll go first, if that's okay. It's not you.
Obviously.
Obviously. It's Abrielle for me. Mine is Abrielle. I wanted to go, we had talked about, in several iterations of the game, going to the end. As that kept happening, I started to think that she would be very popular with the jury. And I am correct in that. And you were a big part in that, because when you said what you said when you were banished, we came to understand that it was really about Abrielle.
Oops.
So once I knew that she had your vote and she would have mine, I think she played one of the best games here. And I think that we were certainly working together. Similar to my first time with Meredith, how we kept missing each other and then didn't win at the same time, I think that's what happened this time with me and you. If we would have been in the greenhouse more together today, it would have been different. But the way that things shook out, I had to make a choice and be okay with the move to get you to go. You almost had me when you left. You almost did. But I had made an agreement with these guys, and I wanted to show my loyalty one more time to them. So I am very sorry, and I think I would just wish things were different.
So to be clear, you did that intentionally because she was a jury threat. Is that what I'm trying to understand?
So at the point of the game where that was, when we're in top 6, 7? 5? Yeah. Top 5. What's up?
How could you forget?
How could you forget? We're going, I want to win this game. I need the respect of the jury to win the game. It does not matter. Seeds don't matter once we're here. The seeds are garbage. They're all sitting right there in a pile. I need to be able to prove to a jury that I'm the best person to win the game. It's already tough enough with these guys, but it would be impossible, in my opinion, with Abrielle and with Jessica. If I had to give a second choice, it would be Jessica. But you didn't ask for a second choice, and I can elaborate more if you'd like. Does that answer your question?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me think for a second. I can do it though. Well, no, how much are we allowed to respond to what each other says? What do you want to say?
What's your turn and say what you need to say.
Draw blood.
Free for all.
I'm getting my water, so I'm not moving. Okay. Okay.
Well, I know that that real situation was hard for you, and I also felt that because we had talked about a 3, and I have worked with Gabrielle a lot during this game, and loved it a lot, and definitely did think hard about what that would mean, and at various points, what it would be like to get you out. I don't know if that was necessarily like a single-handed betrayal on your part, because we were pretty much unbreakable together, and so I don't know how you could have overruled us. And we actively kept her out of the greenhouse at various points. We had Green Thumb. Ross was able to knock her out of it by force at some point. In the last challenge, we piled on her and kept her deliberately out of the greenhouse. So as far as making the decision to betray her, like, at the end of the day, you got her 5th instead of 4th. But in pretty much any situation, this was the 3 that we had agreed on by that point.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to respond, or should I?
Sure.
I just want to say, my definition of, I'm not denying anything you're saying. My definition of betrayal is when I knew that I would not be going with her to the end.
Yeah.
It was not in the round that you were voted out.
Sure.
It was before that.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, but to clarify, it was a round or 2 before from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for myself, not my biggest betrayal per se, because I feel like that's not the question you're asking. My biggest blind side, if that
Nope,
is
it's betrayal.
betrayal. Okay, because Ava, she did not know about that. My biggest betrayal, I think would have to be Christian. That, like, I, again, don't know what your intentions were with me, but I did have every intention of going as far with you as I could, as long as I felt like I could trust you. But as soon as I felt like there was a threat to my game, you were gone the same round. When Brady started coming to me and saying, like, well, he said I was his number 1. He's telling other people this, and I started talking to other people and saying, like, what is he saying to you? And people are saying rumors that you started, things that are coming from you, and I could not take it anymore. And you came to me to ask to get you off of the block. You wanted my help. I couldn't give that to you. And you went scorched earth and sort of made your own situation worse exponentially in that time. But I drew a firm line in the sand when I had not intended to do that before that round. And I meant everything I had said to you previously. I know to keep an eye on you and to be a little bit wary of you during these games, but I knew before we even got here that, like, you and I would go to each other because of the game we played in season 1. And I was very much looking forward to that. And it was not the game I would hope that we could play together. But as soon as Christian started to seem like trouble in a definitive way, I mean, I knew he was going to be talking to other people. And honestly, it truly started a few rounds earlier when we were in the split house. And we came back together for that 15 minutes. And you told me you were voting out Claire over Thomas, when Claire had nothing and no one. Claire was fully desperate. And Thomas had enough people backing him and could do whatever he wanted. And you were willing to keep him when he was on that block. I could not believe what I was hearing from you. I felt like you were devastating your own gameplay. I felt like that was not the move. And it was not the move for me. That is not the move.
It may not have been the move for you.
Yes, and again, yeah, we had separate games, and if we had been truly allies, that is not the move my ally would make, knowing that Thomas was coming for me. And so that was the point at which I started thinking, like, I don't know if we can continue on this path. If you're not considering my interest in this vote, if you're willing to keep a strong player who is known to be able to manipulate out of situations and to beat people who thought they had him, and I don't know what would have happened with you and Thomas in a long-term situation, but I could not tolerate that for my game. So I got Thomas out, but I still never felt like I could fully trust you because that was such a red flag to me that you were willing to get rid of someone who really had no options in this game. But then, yeah, when people started confirming to me other stories, and it wasn't just that Brady was saying, like, oh, Christian said this to me. It was in a time and a place, and that was so specific that I felt like I knew. And people can lie specifically, I guess, but that felt felt so definitive to me that I said, no, we're done. And then that night, that round, you were gone. And so that was the biggest betrayal for me, because that is not what I intended to be doing. I thought Christian was someone who could be here today with me, maybe even here with me. But yeah, those were the two main points at which I was concerned about what Christian meant for my game. That I became concerned about what Christian meant for my game. And I decided that I could not tolerate that kind of behavior in my game.
Wow. Thank you.
Quick point of clarification. I don't know if it's completely accurate to say that you got Thomas out. I think 3.
Oh yeah, it was all of us.
A lot of people got Thomas out. The main people that got Thomas out are myself, Patrick, and Shane.
Yes, but it was my decision for it to be Thomas over Christian.
Wrong.
I mean, we did vote
No,
on
I was
that.
talking to the jury. I didn't come here.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't entirely agree. I think Meredith was not willing to contribute, but I don't think we necessarily needed it. But she was maybe the first person to say Thomas over Christian.
I think you're correct.
Okay.
But
But she wasn't the only one saying it.
right.
No, and I was not solely responsible for,
Right.
nor even majority responsible for like the coins, the seeds of the Venus flytrap itself. But the fact that like that was Thomas's time to go was, I think, a major push that came from me specifically, and other people in that coalition did vote and agree on that. But that was in part because he was such a threat to me, and people in that group were my allies who, you know, unlike Christian, were unwilling to see Thomas persist in this game when he was going to target me. And Shane and Patrick agreed that, like, no, that's not going to work. We're going to need Meredith. So Thomas has to be the one to go over Christian if she feels more comfortable with Christian.
Fair. Okay, biggest betrayal
And benefit.
and benefit of that. Unfortunately, I don't want to pander, but it is you. I think that the fine line with betrayals in these games is that you have to wait long enough to betray the person to where they're you need to be allied with someone in order to betray them, right? And so from that allyship comes good things, positive things. But you have to find the fine line of when they've done enough positive things for you that you can get rid of them. And so if I get rid of them now, they're done doing positive things for me. But is that going to negatively affect me going forward? So you and I felt no one was running the game at that point. There was too many people in it. But you and I had, as Brandon said, we were on camera quite a bit. We were making moves. And whenever you went up, I think towards the end you got an inkling that things weren't going to go great. And at that point, I still wasn't sure what we were going to do. And I went upstairs and I had a conversation with Jessica. And she asked me, what do we do here? And I sat in front of the camera and I thought about it for a second. And I thought that if I stayed with you, you and I were both going to get a few more rounds fairly easily. But I knew that ultimately you would turn on me and that I was going to have trouble beating you. And it goes back to the same thing about when I took a shot, I didn't really miss. And I knew that a shot to get you out was likely not going to come up again. Or if it was going to be a lot more difficult. And so I don't think I'm completely responsible for getting you out, but I think I was the main reason that you got out. And I'm not necessarily proud from like a person standpoint, but I know it's not what you're asking. The benefit was that I got one of the few people at that point that I thought could beat me if they made it to one of these chairs out of the game. And so does that answer the question?
Yep.
Okay.
Can I pause for a second to kind of rethink my question?
Also, yes, I got a request for a bathroom break.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. Already kind of stole my question.
Okay, quick bathroom break. Quick. Are we ready? Now we're ready? Ready? Christian?
Okay, done with the halfway point. Keep going, y'all.
This is everyone's still up here. So, what is a highlighting instance of manipulation? Who did you perform it against, and how? And I want to start with Ross.
Okay. good question.
We want blood.
Okay.
Amorces.
I think the biggest manipulation I've done throughout this entire game is Jessica has been my sweet baby for like possibly all yesterday. Like we have been tight. And you made Final Four, and when I say I wouldn't be here without you, I mean it, but Jessica was told that she had a chance to come to the end with us, and that was probably not gonna happen. And I was able to have Jessica be a number for me more or less the entire day yesterday and most of today, and I knew full well that likely wouldn't end up with her sitting up here, and it doesn't feel good as a person, and it was still the right move to make in the game. And I think that being that we're all adults and we know what we're signing up for, I think that you can respect it, especially as good as the game player as you are. But I've been manipulating Jessica for the last 48 hours or so into being a number for me, and it has helped to get me here.
Do we need a camera flash? No, you're fine.
Is this all of us?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all of you. Do you want me to re-say it again?
Yes.
Yeah, question mark?
I have it on my phone. Oh shit.
Manipulation.
What was a highlighting instance of manipulation? Who did you perform it against, and how?
I can go. I'm
Okay,
ready.
go for it.
I'll start by saying manipulation is not my favorite thing. I try to be straightforward with people when I can. I'm not the best liar, but that being said, do it when I have to. My personal favorite of the game is Dear Sweet Ava. When we were in the split house, we pretty much easily decided that she was going to be the target, but we were worried that in the reconvening she would have allies and resources on the other side, so we needed her to have absolutely no idea that she was the target, so she would ask for nothing and have no chance at uproot, because we needed that to go smoothly. And I do believe, could be wrong, but I do believe I was the first person to recognize that as a threat and to say, we have to absolutely convince her that she is 100% safe. And Jessica was our other nominee in that situation, and so I took her outside and we walked through what that was going to entail. And we had a little session of here's what we have to do. She has one seed in the cup, she can't afford uproot. We're shaking around the seed and practicing for what you're gonna tell Ava, and we're going over some of the lines to drop. And then we spend the rest of that round. I mostly avoided her, to be perfectly honest, because I don't love lying to people's
Is
faces.
that why you held me hostage for half the 15 minutes?
I was not sure how you felt about her, so when you started asking what we were doing, I was trying to get out of you if you would care, and if I could tell you the truth about that situation or not. And we got interrupted by Claire coming in full tears, so we never got to resolve that conversation. Didn't mean to hold you hostage that whole time, but I was trying to get information out of you to see if I felt like I could trust you, or if I had to hide that from you until it was too late for you to change that. Because you were on the other side, I didn't know if you were going to help her or warn her, so I felt like I had to keep you at a distance until you confirmed for me what your situation was with Ava. And then I had a conversation with her right before the auction ended, and she said she had just talked to Patrick and she felt good with him, so he had put in some good lies for me. And the voters were myself, Patrick, and Lily, I believe. And so what I said to her, after she said, I've talked to Patrick and I feel good with him, I won't buy uproot if you tell me right now that I am safe. And so what I said to her is, Patrick, Lily, and I have talked and we are on the same page.
She beat the wrong book.
Wow.
So I did not lie. But she said, okay, perfect, I will not purchase uproot, and that sealed her fate, and that went off without a hitch. So that is my favorite manipulation of this game personally. I felt like that one went really well.
It did.
Mine is something I've already talked about, but I'll give the manipulation side of it, and it is Patrick being out. I don't. By the look of your face, it seems like you were surprised to hear it.
I genuinely had no idea you were involved in that at all.
Mhm.
Or the original. Like, it makes sense now,
Yeah.
but obviously.
So it was a tough to do, but I saw the writing on the wall for me if I didn't take action. I knew that I was good enough with these two, but I knew that they were closer to him, and I knew that when we got into this kind of like speed round of greenhouse competitions, once again, I'm not known to be a competition winner all of the time, and you are. So there was an opportunity to do it. We had the seeds. On an uproot, it got up to 16 or 17. So 17 and 16 seeds on an uproot going back and forth. And we never wavered. We knew it was happening. Before it happened, I tried to talk to you and say, it's going to be me or you, but, the house is with Lily. The house is to get Lily out here. To surprise you a little bit whenever the chaos started going. And I purposely didn't really tell a lot of people. I don't even think we told Abrielle that Lily was going to pass. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you know that Lily was going to pass the uproot to me?
Mm-hmm.
You did know that?
We all assumed that.
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
Yeah, that was the obvious.
Then y'all manipulated me.
I'm
But
confused. Are you saying you manipulated him into, like, thinking something?
thinking he was safe. Yeah.
Before I was nominated.
There was going to be like no play of uproot at that point. Or if there was, we were trying to get to Patrick that they're not going to really go for it, or they don't have enough seeds or whatever. So he felt that he was very safe. In one version of that, he probably was, but when we counted it up and we knew what we could do, we decided to take that uproot challenge serious, not challenge, but the challenge of getting the uproot seriously. And I made the move to get Lily to help me as well. I said, and she needed more seeds. Plot twist, she was completely out. If you would have gotten Meredith's last seed, it could have tied, and it would have gone to a random.
Boo.
Yeah.
That's on me.
No, and I don't think you knew that.
And you, no.
And I said, we have the seeds, and that's all I would say. But I wanted to secure my spot in that as well. So, I'm the same as Meredith. I don't like manipulation. I don't like backstab. It's not the way that I have played the game. I like being honest with people. But to take someone as big as you in such a surprising way, I'm happy with that.
We did intend to use up root me to him, so we never intended to leave him on the
To leave it, right,
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Nice.
And before the video started.
Yeah, she's going
Yeah.
I'm going last.
Yeah.
Did Ross answer the question?
Yeah.
He went first. Oh, okay. It's been a little long, if you do.
It has been thrown around a lot. I love that, if you know me. In our season, I ended up casting my vote for the person who I felt did the best job at taking a situation throughout the game and pivoting away from people and pivoting to people. Y'all have kind of talked about this already, but I would love to hear more about different times that you pivoted in this game at any point, because this game was 3 days and I've not had enough. I don't think enough has been given to yesterday as well, because that was a huge time in the game. So any move is welcome to be heard. But a time that you pivoted away from people, who you pivoted away, why you pivoted away from them, who you pivoted to, why you pivoted to them. Start with Brandon.
Okay. Like I said, up until today, every major alliance that I had started dying because they were eliminated. I had to pivot this whole goddamn game, which I think worked to my benefit because, again, I didn't become a target of being in a specific pair or trio. Toward the beginning, Thomas had approached me about, first of all, everybody approaches everybody about I really like working with you and we should let's keep in touch, let's keep it together. Thomas came up to me and told me that he saw me, him, and Shakira. I know how well Thomas plays. I know how well Shakira played, obviously. So I was like, work. As it goes, the house keeps going. I voted to get Shakira out. I saw the way the house was moving and I knew that that plan would no longer work. So I started really feeding into my relationship with Christian. I trusted Christian, which I have been warned and played with him to know not to do for a long extended time, but when it's in his favor, it's good. Brody and I touched base several times, and I really do think that in a different universe, we would have worked together more from the beginning, and I would have, I look forward to the day when we do get to do that. You might be my Meredith for this one, you know what I mean? And for the round that you were going out, it was, I joked that everyone kind of woke up, stretched, had coffee, and said, let's get Brody out. But you approached me first, and I was ready to do that until I saw the house moving in your direction. Now, if you watch anything, you'll see me throughout the game openly saying, when are we going for Brody? Why are we not going for Brody? Mm-hmm. When you were on the block in the second week, you had a couple votes against you. 'Twas I. I could not vote against you. Brody's on the block. Brody is a strong competitor that will win. Why is Brody here, right? So, I was moving and shaking all game. I was closer with Abrielle and with Lily when we got into this final day today in 6. But when the way the challenges were working out and they weren't winning as much and I was winning with these guys, it became clear to me that I needed to solidify this if I wanted to be in this chair. So I had to pivot away from them as well. And that's that ability. And you can only do that if you have talked, again, to every person in the game, give them information that they want, and let them know what they need to know. Anything I got was passed to somebody, not in a secretive way, but in a way to also help people play this game. I hate a boring game. I don't want to watch a season where we know every round who's going home. That was a critique that I have of my own season. Once it got to you and Drake, it was can we just get through this? That is not the way I want to play. So in the early days, if I heard shit going on over here, did I pass it to this side to try and get them give them the chance to make it interesting? Yes. And that, baby, call me pivot.
Pivot?
Okay.
Sure.
I mean, I think it's funny that you compare our top 6 to this top 6 because I do think post Patrick, it was very clear who was going home every week and that was already planned out in advance. So I think maybe the top 6 is not the point of comparison. I do think in almost any game at that point, a lot of things are predetermined. Anyway, so again, with myself having a disposition toward loyalty, I'm to an extent proud of the fact that I have pivoted in small ways, but have mostly stayed very true. That some of my earliest relationships were Ross and Patrick. Brandon and I were light for a good chunk of the game, but deepened that progressively over time, and it is something that I stuck with. And so I do pride myself on the loyalty as well as the pivots. But to go into the question, let's start at the very beginning. The first person to approach me in this game and say, you are my number 1, I'm all in with you, I'm sticking with you from this point until the end of the game, I want to be in a final 2 with you, was Gavin. Minute 1 of this game. I've never seen this man before in my life.
Nice.
20 minutes into the game, he comes to me with this. I had a few conversations with him and involving him, liked him so far, and was like, I can work with that. I came into this game saying that, like, I've never had an alliance from, like, week 1, week 2, those early solid things that I've seen succeed for other people. I've always wanted that. And so someone came to me and was like, you're my number 1. I want to play with you. And that's his, like, he said that was just going to be his strategy, to choose one person and revolve his game around them. It's like, I've never been so honored in my life. This was the most exciting thing that could happen to me. Gone! Damn! So of course I have to pivot in that situation because that was my first idea. The next person who came to me and was like, I want to work with you. I love your style. This is going to be great. We can work together. Dylan. Yeah, it is what it is. So I was good with him for, you know, the next little while. And then something that came out, which I believe was a rumor started by Christian, is maybe I think where we've settled. Possibly a thing.
I'd like to state that was very true. I did not start any rumor.
Okay.
I spread
About the non-all stars?
Oh my gosh, shut up. Okay, chill out.
Okay.
Chill out.
Whatever the narrative is, you know, that is what you told me that Gavin was saying there are some non-all-stars in this game, and mine was...
Dylan was
Sorry,
switch Gavin.
Yes. So that Dylan was saying there were some non-all-stars in this game. I'd like to point out that almost all of them are in this room still right now. So let's hear it for the incorrectness of that statement. Absolutely not. This was an all-star game, and the people he named are absolutely all-stars. But when I heard that, I said, no, thank you. No one who does not consider me an all-star is going to be an ally of mine. And he, I believe, went out that round. And so that was a pivot. I started gunning for him. I started telling people that I was down for that and hoping to convince people that he would go out. And I turned on him that round because that was unacceptable. So if that was a lie from someone somewhere, it worked. It did what it needed to do and I flipped. If it is something Dylan said, wow, did that doom him that it got back to me. Other pivots in this game, I would say that, like, joining up with Ross was a big pivot for me. That at that point I did have a lot of good options, but I feel like we, at some point, like early yesterday, maybe like round 3, got together after a challenge and said, like, we haven't talked a ton, but the vibes are great, right? And we agreed on that, and we sort of locked into that despite not having had a ton of contact prior to that. And so leaning into that was one of my major pivots. And so that was a thing that obviously really benefited my game because we have worked exceptionally well together. And then some of the middle to late game, obviously you guys are more aware of the pivots that I had to make that involve you. That, like, Shane, we considered you our third for a long time. We intended you to be here with us. And it was, Patrick, don't worry. It was like Brandon had mentioned, when they found out you flipped, for us, that was not finding out you flipped because we thought you were working with us the entire time. So to hear that you were on the other side and they thought you were loyal to them showed how much you had been playing both sides, that they were like, oh, this is a dramatic change in behavior. We're like, is it? So I was like, no, you're just finding out about it. But that meant so were we. And so, I mean, like Ross mentioned, that meant we had to target you pretty much immediately. That there was the, like, 4 rounds in a row that the house pretty much unanimously said, sketchy people are gone. And we went from Christian to Shane to Brody to Brady, and all of you were the ones playing both sides and talking to too many people. We didn't know where you stood, and so all of you fell in a row, despite the fact that I had been willing to work with each of you to different extents throughout this game. But as soon as it became clear that I needed to know where the lines were, pivoting, and dropped each and every one of you, despite the fact that, like, I did see potential for strong relationships with you, but those had to be abandoned immediately. At the same time in those rounds, I was really developing my relationship with Brandon and Abrielle, and leaning into that to have an option in case these guys became too big of targets for me to handle. Because people were looking at them instead of me, which is great for me because I had been working on especially those two relationships, but all of my relationships throughout this game. So I had given myself those options and I leaned into them and I started thinking I might pivot. I had a lot of second thoughts about it because I feel very guilty doing that sort of thing. But when it came down to the fact that we couldn't save Patrick, unfortunate, we pivoted to this and we leaned into this, and that was a very effective change to make. And even like Patrick, I feel like we were never a pivot, we were a gradual increase over time. We just talked a lot, eventually felt better about that and felt pretty solid. The three of us were grouped together in the flytrap round. That was when that really solidified as a 3. So those are some of the pretty dramatic changes in my game that I went through over the course of this game.
I'm not sure if you guys remember the first night me and Brody didn't necessarily get on the same side of the aisle. And there was what I felt an above 50-60% chance that I was going home that night. And there was probably about what I thought a 50 or 60% chance that Brody was going to be one of the first few gone the next day, because I had gone against him and he had painted a big target on his back. And the pivot that we made was to, you're in trouble and I'm in trouble, let's be in trouble together. And so we started working, and that pivot lasted all the way to the point where we got Patrick in with us, and I'm sorry, Brady, we stole your cactus from you. And we were literally in a room, and we were all like, well, what's happening? Or like, they're forcing us into the corner. We don't even want to work together. We don't like each other, but they're making us do it. So we were like, all right, I guess we'll pivot and work together. And so that was one of the pivots. I think just from jump, I knew I was going to be comfortable with my season 4 people. I didn't realize that that was the wrong attitude to come into this house with on that night. I think that we had to quickly pivot away from that mindset. And then I don't know if I consider Meredith as much a pivot as much it was exactly what you said. We kind of like put some feelers out, and then when we really sat down, we were like, wait, I think this can work. And that's one pivot I haven't made, is I had said that I had a final 2 with, I think, Brody at some point. That was never a thing. I had said that I had a final 3 with me, Meredith, and Shane. That was a thing until we couldn't do it anymore. I said I had a final 3 with me, Meredith, and Patrick. That was a thing until we couldn't do it anymore. And then I said I had a final 3 with me, Meredith, and Brandon. And that is the 3 of us sitting up here right now.
Jessica?
Mm-hmm. I had a quick question. Is Lily calling in?
Just to vote.
Just to vote.
Just to
she
vote?
has rehearsal.
I'm sorry. Just check. I was just checking. I didn't know if she was like gonna FaceTime and say, see y'all. Okay. My question, like getting here and how I've played this game differently, is personally self-reflection. As in, I went back and watched the previous seasons that I was in and how I played. And I don't mean to disrespect T. I was so pissed after season 2. I did not watch season 2, and season 3 hadn't aired. And so then I just went in blind for season 4, right? And ended up doing the same thing. But what I'm saying is that, and how I played differently this time, it was because I did that self-reflection. But to me, that shows people call them regrets. And I call them, happy mistakes, because we got to learn from them. So in this game, whether it be like social things, votes, even the small challenges that we did, do you have regrets? And if so, what was your biggest regret in this game?
Can we start with Meredith?
Yeah, she's
We've been
Meredith.
going left to right.
Yeah, Meredith.
So, okay. That's not where I thought the question was going, so I was prepping a different answer.
Hot.
Keep getting
You can take a second.
Oh, she's thinking about it.
I thought she was gonna say like reflect on your last season.
Yeah, I was like, what did you change from your first season to now that got you here? I was like, oh, that for sure I can do.
Pivot.
You know,
New answers.
Alright, yeah.
not reflect, regret.
That's funny.
So there's a lot of things in the past 48 hours that like I guess are kind of hazy at this point. A lot of it has been a blur. So just trying to.
We've been here for 2 hours. I don't think it's a blur. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing with you. I'm playing.
And I'm sorry, I'm so verbose. I guess so. Just like speeding through the tape in my mind, I do feel like I played very well, and so I think when it comes down to it, my biggest regret is I think in the middle and latter half of today, how confusing things got and how how much I felt like I might have to compromise the game I wanted to play. The fact that like I went to Abrielle and Brandon in good faith and proposed a new trio as something that I might be interested in doing. And then immediately like going into a confessional and being like, what have I done? And like 2 minutes later going into a room with Ross in which he was like, final three, me, you and Patrick, like we've been all in, I love working with you. And I was like, I'm too soft for this, I can't. I hate betraying people. And like I shook your hand on that. I was like, okay, so now I have to back out of this thing with Brandon and Abrielle. I can't go through with that. But then you guys approached me and were like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, ah. And so we had a lot of chaos in those couple of rounds, and there was an idea to blindside Abrielle, and that was making me physically sick to my stomach. Like, you kept checking in on me, asking if I needed, like, water and food, and I was like, I need to not betray you? And I think I was trying to do too many things in one round, and that ended up working out for me, obviously. And so it's hard, to regret something in a game where, like, obviously I'm still sitting here, but I think that is the single round in which, like, I was talking to you guys. I had made, a long-term deal with you guys, and that was shaking your hand, I think, was the first time I truly committed to a final anything. That a lot of people I talked to would tell me, like, you're my number one, we're a whatever, this is what I'm in for, and saying, like, they were all in on that. And I would say, like, yeah, cool, sounds good, but I never promised anything in return. And so you guys in that round were the first thing that like I confirmed with. Mm-hmm. And then Lily was on the block and she came to me and she said, like, I'm here to negotiate, like this is what I have to offer as a player. If you don't vote for me, I'm gonna keep you safe in the next round if I have power. So I shook her hand on that. I did 2 handshakes in a round. And then I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to uphold that because then there was the Abrielle and the Patrick of it all. And I was getting backed into every corner. I was in a box. Mm-hmm. And that was terrifying, and it made me really realize I needed to make a decision and prioritize what I needed to do because I hated playing the game that way, of promising too many people too many different things. That's not who I am. That's not how I play this game. I deliberately avoided making those kinds of promises so that I didn't have to break them. That is not what I wanted to do, and I just had such like icky feelings and just like I was in a haze that round because of how much I just wanted it to end and be out of that situation. I thought I was gonna cry. So I'm putting myself in that situation is probably like until I watch the tapes my biggest regret from where I'm sitting, and of course that's a recency thing, but yeah, I would not, I think, do that again.
That's all clear.
I'll go. I left everything on the table on this game. I came and brought everything I had. All of what I knew I could do and some ways that I wanted to try. I also prepped for this game and just kind of reflecting on who are the power players and how do they play, but why don't they win? Brody, Christian, Claire, Thomas, my friends that I know that have played these games that tend to end up right there or right here, but never quite all the end. I wanted to know what they did and how they did it. So I don't have many regrets. I say all of that to say I went in with very, I just wanted to leave nothing on the table like I did last time. I felt that I did last time. If there is one, it is during Monopoly, saying in round 1 of 6 what I wanted. And kind of saying it so loudly. Because I was actually blindsided. Even though you had already betrayed us, you know what I'm saying at this point. Well,
go on.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
To me, you were with me, so I was betrayed.
Right.
So I don't know why I decided to blab with you in the room. That made no sense. I honestly didn't think that you were ballsy enough to make that kind of move. Also, no one had ever been put in jail before. So I forgot jail was a thing. I was on my way. John Michael got the shot of the century. Props to you. So I regret that. But I do not regret what immediately happened next, which was intentional to a T. I am not someone who throws a fit. I am a cool, calm, and collected person. Y'all know this. I screamed at the top of my lungs when everyone was in there, and then when everyone came back about what happened and who did it and why it happened, to get the house ready to go for you. That is not who I am as a person. That was a choice to do. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
And I wanted to show people, again, I've been critiqued on not making big enough moves and just kind of playing the middle. I wanted to show that don't cross me or you will get out. And the 2 people that ever threatened me, I got out. So I don't have a lot of regrets.
Wait, Ross.
I'm just leaning in. I'm having
Sorry.
a great time.
I think that the unfortunate reality of this game is that in order to do well, you have to lie and manipulate people. And so I think the spirit of the question is any game regrets or any emotional regrets. It's an open-ended question.
I really think I appreciated how you answered it, because when I look at this game that we just played, it was something that I could control, that once I realized what I did, I would have done it another way. So that's why in a challenge, once I realized what was going on, I was I wish I would have played this differently.
Okay. So I think game regrets. I don't really have many game regrets because I think I didn't play flawlessly. You can't play, it's a 72-hour marathon. But I think I played pretty damn near flawlessly for the hand that I was dealt. And by the way, not everyone walks into these things equal. When you walk into these games in season 4, not many people had played a loot game. None of us knew each other. This time, we were all on the internet for about 30 hours. We knew what each other was about, and it was go from jump. And so as far as game-wise go, no one was going to play a perfect game without a hiccup or two. But I gotta say, I played pretty damn near perfect, because I probably should have been one of the first people out of the entire game. And I'm sitting up here, and y'all had the opportunity twice on the first night with a vote and a fly trap to get me out, and y'all didn't do it. So from a game-wise, I can't think of a regret that I have. From an emotional person-wise, I think I should have. I was so tense after that first night, because in the first greenhouse that I played, you walked in and the first round was very much like, hi, nice to meet you. I don't know, you're getting to know each other. We walked in and it was season 4 this person that, immediately. And so I think that got me on such a level of
tenseness and nervousness that I didn't do a good enough job from like, Shane and Brody are gonna hate this part, from like a human standpoint of when things were past the point of where a person couldn't do anything about it, and I could have told them to where maybe they wouldn't have been blindsided by something. I was so freaked out by the game that I still didn't tell them, and I think if I would be in my right mind, I would have told them. And so that is probably my, if I have any regrets, it's that I didn't tell someone that they were in trouble or gone when it was past the point where they couldn't do anything about it.
Good answer. Good answer, Paula.
And now, last but not least, Grandmama. I'm back.
I won't lie, y'all. I'm still not locked. So my question for you, the best for last. Whose jury vote do you think you have and why? And let me be very clear. I don't want no cop-outs. I want, who do you think you have and exactly why? No detail is too small because at this point, I know where I stand. I don't know where they stand. The margin could be razor thin. Own your shit. Don't own shit you didn't do.
Yep.
And
No generality.
who do you got?
Yep.
Why do you think? Give it to me.
Who you got?
Who you got?
Who's starting?
Do we want Ross went last? Do we want Ross to go first? Does anybody care?
I think that works because then we'll do final statements and it'll go back that way.
Okay. Hope y'all got it all out on that last bathroom break. I think this one might take a while. I honestly don't see how anyone who played the game as long as y'all did would have another opinion on how it could be me or Meredith. I think Brandon played an excellent game. He didn't play the game Meredith and I played. And we were the two best players in this house, and I think I am just this much better than her. But in the case of this game, that's got to be enough. Brody, we went from mortal enemies the first night to working together. If there's anyone in this game that respects that nothing's personal, after a round clears, it starts fresh. Let's get this thing going and let's make it to the next round, and after that, it's you and it's you. When I went to my confessional to make, you'll see, episode whatever where you get out, I said, I don't like doing this on a personal level, but if anyone's gonna respect the move from a game point, it's gonna be Shane. He's gonna like that I'm doing this. I'm voting for Shane. Brady, you should vote for me because you were in dire straits at some point, at a lot of points throughout the game. And whenever you were looking for security, you knew who to come to. And it was me and Meredith and Patrick. And guess what? You found some security and we got you through however the next few rounds until, unfortunately, couldn't. Christian, I don't know if I have your vote. I think I probably should because I think just from a respect point, you sat me down and you said, you're going up and I'm sorry, but the people that I'm working with, this is what they want. And I said, are you sure? And you said yes. And I said, are you choosing the right side? Because you're choosing a side right now. And you said, I'm choosing the right side. And I said, okay. And then me and Patrick and Shane walked out on that porch and we said, you know what? It's time. And I think it was actually Shane and Patrick's idea first. So I can't even take full credit for that. But they couldn't do it without me. And we walked out there and we said, it's time. We put the bid down. And then you came out there and you said, I'm desperate. I chose the wrong side. What can I do? And I said, what can you offer me? And you said, I'll give you all the information I got. I said, I can get that from somewhere else. What else you got? and then you said, I don't have any C's. And I said, you got nothing I need. And I walked away. I think that you saw that was a powerful move. And as someone who respects powerful moves, I know that I should have your vote. Ariel, we're fifth buddies. I know that last time I went out fifth, you went out fifth, we bonded over it. That's probably why we talked in the first place and we had a good working relationship the whole time. you lasted long enough to see how good we were. And if you think Meredith was running the show, you should vote for her. But I was running the show, and so I think you should vote for me. Patrick, you saw it too. You were on the inside. The three of us, I mean, we couldn't do it without the three of us. But I think we know that if you take the summation of everyone's game as far as greenhouse wins, competitions, I don't know if you guys know this, I never sat on the block one time until final elimination. So just, I guess, keep that in mind. As someone who understands this game as well as anyone, I think you can respect that I was never sweating when it came to announcing the votes, because I was always on that couch. And Jessica, my baby, I'm sorry that our relationship had to end the way it did, but I know that you respect me from a game point of view, and you should know that I respect you too. And I think you got to see as close as anyone, maybe besides Meredith, how good I was playing this game, because you were one of my closest allies. And so if you saw how good I was playing and you think I'm deserving, I think I should have your vote too, to be honest.
So, I have to clarify the question.
You don't have to misunderstand. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to say everyone.
That was something.
I thought it was one.
I think Ross just said, I think I'm gonna win unanimously. Yes. So talk your shit.
So did you pick one person? Or should I do that?
Name all the people you think you have.
I want to know who you think you have and why. Whose jury votes do you think you have? That was an acceptable.
That was so
name one person.
I'm sorry, I'm
Multiple is acceptable.
Everyone you think you have and why.
Okay. I think Ross makes a great point that we played a game together. We played very similar games, but I think he's wrong about the fact that he played a better game than me and that he was running the show. He could not have done almost anything that he did without me, and most of that without Patrick and or Shane as well. I think the main difference between us is that Ross made almost no moves that I didn't also make, and you keep leaving my name out of these conversations, like, oh, the Venus flytrap out there on that porch, and you're naming Shane and Patrick. I was there, and you were naming something earlier you did with Patrick that I was there for. I was a part of everything that you did. If you think you're running it, I guess that's fine, and that's going to be your narrative, but I thought we were a team, and I think I was part of all of those moves, but I also made moves on my own that he did not make. I was the one who gunned for Thomas and Shakira on my own. I was the one who made a path for myself in case things fell through on the other side of things. I was playing my own game. I was keeping social relationships with pretty much everyone at every point and giving myself options throughout this game. And I feel like I did have good relationships with all of you. I think I'm most confident in Patrick's vote, that we've been so solid throughout this game that...
Don't you copycat me? She's Patrick.
That we implicitly started trusting each other, and we built and built and built on that, and we also have fun together. And I think I have a lot of faith that you respect my game, that you respect the way that I have played it, and maybe I don't have as many competitive wins and greenhouse things, but you were there for that, and you know that a lot of those for me were conscious decisions to not draw attention to myself as someone who is called the comp beast. I did not want that target on my back, and guess who the eyes were on when people didn't like our power? It was those two. My name was very rarely the one that was going to be in deep trouble. People were shouting Ross, people were shouting Patrick, and Patrick's the one that's out. I'm the one that's sitting here because I was able to play an extremely strong game and still be sitting here because I had people's trust. People saw potential with me. They saw that they could keep me if they were disabling my allies, and I had worth in that sense. And I sat on the block several times, and I survived that. I feel like it's kind of easy to never be on the block and never face that kind of danger. I think it means more to survive that and to have the ability to do so, whether it's the resources to buy an uproot with the seeds that I have, or to simply have the votes with the allies that I knew that I had, and the confidence to put myself in those situations at the times that I was a pawn. So I'm fairly confident that I have Patrick's vote. Since you've worked more with Jessica, I think that one could go either way, but I do think Ross and I share a similar case, even though we work together for less time, that you and I have an understanding that like it was an honest game, it was a well-played game, and I thoroughly enjoyed working with you, and we were in agreement every step of the way, besides the fact that you couldn't be here with us. So most of the arguments that Ross has for your vote, I think I also have. I feel like, Christian, I might have done enough to sway you, despite the fact that things didn't work out for us. You do respect power moves, and eliminating you was one of my most powerful moves, and it had to happen. And I know how you play the game, and I certainly played this game. I think I could have anyone's vote, because what are you looking for? Are you looking for someone who made cutthroat moves and changed this game and had turning points in this season? I did that. I had those as part of my narrative. Do you want someone who played an honest game, who put their best effort into social relationships and tried to stay true to people and let them know what was coming for them, and to do everything that I could to be proud of the game that I played from an integrity standpoint? Because I did that as well. That was not perfect, but I am proud of the game that I played as far as honesty and trust that I was able to build. And coming from someone who had no ability as a social player prior to now, that is a stack of 19 chips that people unanimously said, Meredith is the one. Meredith is in charge of this game from this point forward, because I'm the one who earned his trust and his trust. Abrielle said she would let me do open heart surgery on her. Jessica gave me her trust. I had Patrick's trust. I had trust from each of you to various extents at various points in this game. And I worked well with each of you when I was able to, and I think, especially the four of you on this end, who were, the tricksters and the people playing both sides, you were the ones who were going to respect the fact that you had to get cut when you got caught. And when your time came, that I was a part of the initiative to get you out. This was the Shady Boy segment of the game. And we got it. And I love that for you guys.
I was like, I figured that.
No.
But I do
Bitch, I was the start of it.
I do think that you guys are people who would respect my gameplay, because I do think I am the person who is most well-rounded and balances the aspects of my gameplay. I mean, Shane, we had such a good thing going from the beginning that it was really hard to accept that you had been playing both sides. And I was never even sure with you and with Christian, even with Brady, I was never 100% when I placed your votes, and I think I said this every time I voted one of you guys out, that I don't know if your true intention was to end up on my side, or if it was never going to be that way. Because honestly, with all three of you, I felt like at least at some point you did mean that, and you did want to work with me and my team. And so it was hard to let you go, but the fact that I was able to draw lines and say, if I'm not 100%, then it's not happening. So I feel like I have done enough to earn that by besting you guys as competitors in this game, and by having the strategy that I did. And Abrielle, I don't know where I stand with you when you're the one saying that your vote is not bought, but we had a great relationship throughout this game, and because we are such similar players, I feel like you might end up going with me, because it could easily be you here instead of me if you had done some things ever so slightly differently. But you and I are the same, and if you value your own game, then you should be valuing mine as well. So I think that's my case. I feel more confident with some of you than others, but I do think I could have any one of your votes.
Good answer. I'm going to try and keep it quick so we can keep it going. I hope to have Christian's vote. When we played the first time, I did not have your vote at the end. And I agreed with that at that time. I think I've earned it this time. And if I had a goal coming in, it was to get to this chair and to feel myself like I earned it and like I played the game the way it is designed to be played. I think I figured out the greenhouse. I think I learned the rules. But I think I have figured out how to get here and how to do it on my own. While not on my own, but with keeping myself number one at all times. There's a difference, right? You have to, this is a social game, a relationship building game. You cannot make it here without putting, like, the literal last round of the game is to give everything you have to someone else and trust that they are going to repay you the favor. You have to be able to do that. I did it well the first time. I did it even better the second time because until a couple of rounds ago, I was not supposed to be here. So I have shown that. I'm saying Christian specifically because I didn't earn your vote the first time, and I think I've more than proven that I have earned it this time. And Christian and Brody and Patrick and Jessica, especially, I want to say for y'all that have played many of these games, Abrielle as well. Well, everyone, obviously, it's All-Stars, we've all played a game. But, like, I'm talking about the OGs here that I knew as lore coming in, right? Like, look out for Jessica, look out for Christian, look out for Brody. That's what I'm talking about when I say I watched how you all played and I tried to fold that into my game this time with my twist on it to get me here again, but to get me here and to feel like I deserve to be in this seat. And that is how I feel to be here. When I say I played the game as it's designed, I mean that from the sense of we like to talk about who's running the house. And I think a lot of people associate that with competition wins or who was in the greenhouse and who was nominating. I do not consider that to be what runs the house, and especially in the beginning. The people, the flowers nominate. Do I need to stop?
Wait, sorry, we have a camera on you.
Okay.
Zach, can you switch with mine? We don't need to twist it on and off.
My camera's like almost done.
Alright, I'm gonna shift this.
Okay.
But there's a camera on you.
Got it. What I know to be running the game is watching whoever's in power make the nominees and then controlling the narrative. Or being a part of it. And passing information when it needs to be passed. Not passing information when it doesn't need to be passed. Thinking this round, next round, long game. 3 different things simultaneously. It is a difficult game to do. This is extremely hard. Like, pulling it into 3 days is even more difficult. I don't know what the real world is like. I'm going to need counseling after this. Except I have a Succession finale to watch, which is only going to fuck me up. So I think that I hope to have Christian's vote. I hope to have Brody's vote. And I hope to have Jessica's vote and Patrick's vote at least. And I say that because I know you all to be ones that have played this type of thing a long time. I feel like I came in later in life when you all really had shit figured out. And I've had to learn a lot very quickly. This is my second game, period. Not second greenhouse. This is it for me. And I won last time because I was with 2 people who made a lot of noise and I was a safe choice. I have admitted that from the first day, from the day that I won. It was exciting to win, but I didn't feel like I had really earned it. I think I earned it this time. I think that I don't really want to talk negatively about them, so I won't. They played great games, but I think you are right that we played different games. I think it's how you view gameplay, and what I know to be true having been in this spot in the greenhouse twice now, is I trust my game, and it's gotten me here. So I have put the best of what I've seen into what I know to do. It worked. I'm proud of myself, and I hope I will.
Because that was an extremely broad question, those all felt like final statements to me.
I
If
agree
I
with
have
that.
any debates on wanting to add more, if you say yes, I will give you only 90 seconds. So, okay, so 90 seconds,
Okay.
final statement.
Okay.
Okay, and I will show you my time.
You want me to start
Brandon will be
from the beginning?
Yeah, that is, yeah, we said it would go Brandon to Ross.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, 90 seconds.
Okay. I've said what I can say. I guess I won't yield my time. Like I said, my main goal today, this week, was to come back and earn my place here and feel good about it to me. So I am satisfied with that. I would love for that to be an example of how to win this game. Because I think in the future, this is how people should play. I think I have betrayed the least amount of people. Certainly not anyone I was working with closely before I got a chance to tell them. I don't blindside people. If someone turned on me, that creates a different situation where I feel like I can be a little sneaky. I made power moves. I won challenges when it really, really mattered, right? It matters in the end who's in power because there are less and less people to pick from, and I did that. I'm very proud of the game that I've played. I'm very proud to be sitting next to these two. I knew that signing up with this, it'd be a tough jury because of how great of a game they played. And when I made the decision to go with them instead of you and Lily, essentially, I knew that might fuck me in the end. But I don't think it should, because I think this is how the game should be played and should be won. So if you agree, I hope I have your vote, and I will yield 7 seconds.
Meredith, 90 seconds.
And yeah, endless respect for the both of you, but I do think I played the best game out of the three of us. Brendan makes a great case for his game, but I didn't play that quiet game of watching. I played an active game, and I didn't play a game that relied on other people like Ross did. I made a way for myself. And I played every aspect of this game. That pile of seeds, 19 I think, 10 of them are mine. I had more seeds at the end than every other player left combined. I have used Uproot, I bought Green Thumb, I am engaging with the auction, which I didn't really do in my first game. I was on the block, I survived it. I made moves on my own, I made moves with a team. And I think, for me, above all, I played the social game I have never played before. I was never able to do that, and I made it happen, and I did it above and beyond my wildest dreams. How much I had options and flexibility in this game because I was actually making good social connections, and I had alliances, and they moved and they changed, but the important ones stayed the same, and that at the end of the day is what got me here, and knowing how to prioritize and value that is, I think, an exceptional quality. And I made my competitive wins without relying on it. I was in the greenhouse, I did all of it, and I couldn't have done it without my allies, but I feel like I really did it on my own, and I fought for it, and I'm here and I earned it.
Okay, Ross, 90 seconds. I'll start when you start.
I don't think I need the whole 90. I think that a lot has been talked about. I think if y'all don't understand our games now, another 90 seconds isn't gonna fix it. Quick summation, I should have been gone the first night. I'm here now. In between then and now, I've won more greenhouses than anyone did this season. I never touched the block. I always pivoted at the right time. I got big names out. I made the strongest alliance of the season. I don't know what else you guys want from an All-Stars champion. That's not it. So if you think I'm worthy of it, I would appreciate your vote. If you don't, y'all are all great players. I respect your opinions.
Thank you to our final three. will line up and begin the voting process.
With that being said, that was for you, Holly.
Thank you.
I will begin to reveal the votes. Going in order, no particular order. Jessica has voted for Brandon. Gabrielle has voted for Meredith. It's stuck. Okay. Lily has voted for Ross. We are tied at 1 vote each. Patrick.
Break it.
Has voted for Meredith. Brady has voted for Ross. Brody has voted for Brandon. 2 votes Brandon, 2 votes Meredith, 2 votes Ross.
Oh, it's us.
Shane has voted for Meredith. With the final vote, the winner of All Stars. Congratulations, Meredith.
Oh, it's quiet.
Thank you. No one's ever gonna let me in front of a jury again.
Meredith flew here from Chicago.
Oh yeah, I absolutely did. I
Thanks, buddy. You
Y'all excited to see what I vote?
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Pins and needles.
Why is there a green and a stack of green and one blue?
It doesn't matter. Pick whichever one you want.
Okay.
There's no trick.
I'm the only blue. I'm the mayor. I know y'all are probably exhausted. I am too, but I would like to say my piece about each of these people as All Stars. So be mad at me if I go over time.
We expected.
Yeah. I'm gonna situate them as they were sitting as well, just for my OCD. Ross, you're one of my best friends in real life, but I don't care about that. Okay. You played a great game. So many powers, so much control. You had my vote going into the jury. You really did. But my God, you sucked ass at the first half of this jury session. Like literally, I had to change my question because I was like, Ross, you are literally sucking shit right now. But You peaked it when you said your biggest betrayal was Jessica. What the fuck was that? Because that, like, literally, I think you lost my vote when you said your biggest betrayal was Jessica. I love Jessica as a person, but she was a non-player in this game to me. She was just like a stone that made it all the way, and Meredith kicked her out the door because Meredith was confident enough to say, I'll go against the best and I'll beat the best. Honestly, it's more impressive that Meredith got Jessica out. You almost had me, Ross, when you said you finessed me vocally when I was putting him up. When I was putting you up, Ross. When you said, are you sure about that? Are you sure you want to put me up? Think about this for your game. And then when I came to you and I said, look, I'd like to make amends. And you said, what do you got? You got nothing for me, walked out. Cool, you're flashy. Flashiness does not have depth, necessarily. So, I'm sorry, Ross. You did not do enough in this jury session to earn my vote. I think you went from top to bottom. Brandon, I think you played an amazing game. And you're right, I love the fact that you were a big threat as a winner, and you made it back here as a winner. And in any generic season, you win my vote. Because you played stellar. You played great. You were flashy at points, you were not flashy at points when it was good strategically. You played a great holistic game. And I think that you answered this jury session pretty damn well. Meredith, you did not have remotely my vote, I don't think, going into this jury session. I was absolutely floored with your jury session. I've never been more floored in my life at someone in a jury session. That was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. The last person that ever destroyed a jury session like that was Patrick Cormier in Survivor Hidden Valley. This was the most impressive fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sorry, Brandon, I want to vote for you. You're a great speaker, and I know you want my vote. I cannot give you my vote. Meredith, you absolutely destroyed this game. You manipulated me, which I didn't think that you even did. You named situations that I had never even conceived about. You distracted me, you smoke screened me, you slit my neck and you pushed me off a cliff, and you did it to others too. I am so impressed. Love you all. I hate to be the person to say I love you all. I do. Wish I could give you all votes. I hate saying that. But Meredith, you absolutely deserve this one in my book. Is that it? Deal?
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh man. Is it going? Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah. What a final tribal, or whatever we're calling it, banishment, council, whatever, who cares. I have never been so undecisive in this game about this. My vote changed maybe 25 times between each answer. They played exceptionally well. They each are very aware of their game, and I love that. The person I'm voting for is the person that was most aware of the jury perspective and their game, and made decisions based on that for the best possible end game. And for that reason, I'm gonna vote Meredith.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So coming in, I was between Ross and Meredith. And Ross was like 85%. He's gonna get it. He got me out. He made the connections with people that I think kept that group safe for so long. And Meredith, nothing against your game. I think y'all played very, very similar games. I personally respect the person who's willing to take the shot more. That all being said, I think what Brandon said is true, in that I do think he has perfected the game in a way. He came in as a winner when all the other winners went out very, very early. He made his way into the final three when Jessica was there to go with them, who they had been working with since the beginning, and Brandon forced his way into that relationship. He bounced from people to people as needed. He won when he needed to. He let relationships die when they needed to. And I think he played the best game despite it not being the game I would ever play. And that for me is so difficult to understand because I saw Ross's game and respect the hell out of it. I respect the hell out of him as a player. But Brandon deserves this. And so I'm going to vote for Brandon.
Thank you so much, Brody.
This is so weird, you guys. Wow, this is crazy. Looking at these three people.
You're making me nervous.
My knees are shaking. Looking at these three people, I walked in not giving Brandon a shot at all. I didn't understand it. After the question I asked him, I understood it more. I think Meredith held her ground. However, I'm most impressed, I think, by what Ross was able to do. That much power, that much fear that was instilled in all of us in how he was playing, and that ability to maneuver is fucking crazy. And I'm saying, people who get fly trapped are very much... Fuck. I'm so tired. People who get fly trapped are very likely to be a winner, and I think last time Ross got fly trapped, but this time he will be rightfully the winner, in my eyes at least. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Damn. No, I meant one.
Hello, Patrick.
Hello. Damn. They're all so good. I didn't know anything about Brandon's game, but he explained it so well that I really wanted to vote for him. Meredith, eloquent, articulate, queen, love her. I've been working with her closely for a long time. I didn't really know a lot about Ross's game, but all of the early jurors were like, oh, Ross is so cool, Ross is the king of the world, whatever. But I think Ross did a great job. I feel like he started too slow in answering questions, so I kind of fell off on Ross. But I will acknowledge that these three people played the best game, and they deserve to be in the end. And I think no matter what, I will be proud of whoever represents this season. I'm honored to be a part of it. I loved how much they said my name. Like, I felt like I was, but them saying it makes me feel way better about that, because now I'm not just like a crazy person. For me, the vote is never in doubt. There's only one winner. And I was in the jury house arguing with 4 stubborn early jurors about their abilities and about their power and about their winning game. And I think they showed exactly why they deserve to be the winner. And if they're not, great winner no matter what, but I will be a little upset if they don't win it. Meredith should win this game for so many reasons. She stated them all. I couldn't have done it better myself. Also, I'm like actually positive that I would have gotten my ass beat in any sort of final whatever, because they are just crazy. I really hope she wins. She deserves it. Like, that's all I got. Great game.
Great game.
Thank you, Patrick.
You can, you know, fine.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. Hello, Grandmama.
That might be the funniest bit I've committed to besides 5th place.
Tea.
Sorry, I'm looking for my water bottle. Anyway.
Have a seat, please.
Oh.
Talk through your vote.
Ooh.
Dramatic and even diva about it.
I could do that. Just kidding. Well, I don't know. If I really had to sum it up in one quote, it would just be Zooey Mama. I'm sorry. I, at this point, am kind of torn between 2 people. I think I'm really torn between Brandon and Meredith. And you know, she really did the thing. She really did the thing, and if it isn't me, if it isn't me, I really do relate to her gameplay, and I think that that's why I am gonna vote for Meredith. She has a game that I get, and I understand it. Well, not that I don't understand the other two, because they did amazing. But when it really came down to jury questions and jury speeches, she did not hold back, and that was what I wanted. And I think they had incredible games. They all did. But she did the thing, and she's an icon, through and through. She really did that. All icons, but that is where my vote is going.
Thank you so very much.
If you don't already have a
MIP.
miscongeniality, you should.
MIP and miscongeniality.
Okay, I'll take it. I would love a double title, but it's fine. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Because you can win both, okay? Yes. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Do you want me to start? Do you have any questions?
No, you can just tell us.
Okay. Well, obviously, like, I saw them aligning, and I was really, really upset that I wasn't in the final three, and I hated to shed tears, but it was really like, is the same thing that Brandon said. Like, I really, really wish, like to me, this game was me, like, proving it, and so, like, earning that seed and stuff like that. I definitely think that I loved playing the game, and I did amazing for where I came from. But with me, like, because I was really prepared to try and answer, go through that 3-hour whatever. No, I'm just joking. And so when coming up with a question, I was just going to be like, I don't even have one. I don't want to talk to you. Like, really mad. But as time went on, of course, like, you just calm down. You calm down. So throughout that whole thing, I did not know who I was going to pick at all. And of course I thought I was going to choose my ex-sweet baby Ross. And to hear that, like, and as it came to the realization, like, I knew what he had already said, but to hear him say it and was like, I was like, bro, not cool. And I don't think that he deserves my vote for, I think, like, Ross and Meredith rode each other's coattails, if that made sense, which, you know what I mean? Like, they were like a cape and the little birds, just no person. They were just both just collectively carrying this stance. And so I don't think either of them, like, really deserve my vote. Like I said, Ross manipulated me and admitted it, so he's going to respect that I'm not going to vote for him, but I do. He is my sweet baby Ross. Meredith, I think, played a really great game as well, but I think especially in there, she's claiming a lot of stuff that she did, and like claiming things as if she did it by herself, and I just really don't think that at all, you know. And so I think she's a great player, and she got where she needed to be, but I just did not think. Brandon, I thought, like he said, really pivoted through like all of the teams. And honestly, his last comment is what won me over, which was talking about like the previous games that we've always done and stuff like that. And I did not know that this was his second game at all. And I related to him when he said that the first game that he played, it was a new game. It was like, you know, they just kind of got through it. And he got on the seat and he said, how did I get here? And I know that the first time I played a game was Survivor, and I felt a lot like that too. because I play just how I am, which is also, of course, just my style, how I played this round too. But I felt like for Survivor, that's really how I got up there too. And he said he was up against two people that made noise, and so that just made the difference. And that's I've like related to that a lot because I felt like that was how I did Survivor. I know we played Big Brother, and then the two greenhouses, that was flop flop, flip flop, like bad. And then this game was really special to me. Oh, you just heard it. It was really special to me. So I really was really happy to be in it for so long. But making top 4 was awesome. Yeah. But I think that Brandon has earned my vote the most. Yeah, I had so much fun. You can see it's right here. It's in my face. So that's what I think I'll do is I'll vote for Brandon, and I think everyone really played a great game. It was awesome, and making everybody laugh here was like the biggest treat of my year, for real. So thank you guys. I love you guys.
Thank you so much for saying yes again.
Thank you.
I am so proud of you, Jessica.
Yes, thank you.
From the ground to the sky.
From the ground to the
stratosphere.